My child, before you scroll away, before you tell yourself this is not for you, stay with me for just a moment. I know how tired you are. Not tired in your body alone, but tired in your soul. I see how every day feels like a test you must pass. How you wake up already thinking about what you need to do, who you need to impress, and how you cannot afford to fail again. My child, you have been living as if your worth must be earned, as if love comes only after performance, as if rest is allowed only when you have done enough. I see you trying to be strong, trying to be successful, trying to be noticed, trying to be enough. And even when people clap for you, even when they say you are doing well, something inside you still feels empty, still feels anxious, still wonders, what if I stop trying? Will I still be loved? My child, that question has been quietly exhausting you. You measure yourself by results, by productivity, by approval, by numbers, by titles, by how useful you feel today. And when you fall short even just a little, your heart begins to accuse you. Your mind begins to race. Your peace disappears. I know how often you replay conversations, how you rethink your decisions late at night, how you wonder if you said the right thing, did the right thing, were the right thing. You smile on the outside, but inside you feel the pressure to keep proving that you deserve your place, your love, your future. My child, you were never created to live like this. You were not designed to carry the weight of constant validation. You were not formed to live under endless expectations. You were not born to run a race that never lets you rest. I see how hard you have been on yourself, how you speak to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. And I want you to hear this clearly. Before anything else I will say, I have been watching you long before anyone else noticed you. I have been with you long before you achieved anything. I have loved you long before you tried to prove yourself. My child, take a breath. You are safe here. Stay with me. There is something I need you to understand about who you are and why you no longer need to live under this pressure. Listen closely. My child, I know where this pressure began. It did not start all at once. It grew slowly, through expectations spoken over you, through comparisons you never asked for, through moments when love felt conditional. You learned early that approval felt like safety, that being useful felt like belonging, that doing more felt like being valued. And so you adapted. You became responsible. You became reliable. You became the one who tries harder than everyone else. But somewhere along the way, you stopped feeling allowed to simply be. You started believing that rest must be justified, that joy must be earned, that peace is something you unlock only after success. My child, I see how often you feel guilty for slowing down, how uncomfortable silence makes you, how stillness feels like failure. You tell yourself, if I stop, I will fall behind. If I rest, I will be forgotten. If I don't prove myself, I will lose everything. And so you keep going, even when you are empty, even when your heart feels numb, even when your soul is quietly asking for relief. I see the anxiety you carry into ordinary moments, the way your mind never fully shuts off, the way you are always preparing for the next demand. My child, You were not created to live in survival mode. I did not form you to be constantly evaluated. I did not breathe life into you so that you would spend it chasing approval. I did not call you my own so that you would doubt your worth every day. You think your value rises and falls with your performance. But I see you when no one is watching. I see you when you are quiet. I see you when you are unsure. I see you when you have nothing left to give. And I do not love you less in those moments. I do not step back. I do not wait for you to improve. My child, you do not have to impress me. You do not have to earn my attention. You do not have to prove your faith. You do not have to justify your existence. I know you have been living as if love is fragile, as if one mistake could cost you everything, as if you must constantly protect your place in the world. But hear me now, gently and clearly. You are not held by your performance. You are held by my love. And love does not demand exhaustion. Love does not rush you. Love does not threaten to leave when you are weak. My child, the pressure you feel is not your identity. It is not your calling. It is not your destiny. Stay with me, because there is a truth about who you are that will begin to loosen this weight you've been carrying. My child, I want you to listen closely now. The voice that keeps telling you, do more, be better, try harder, is not the voice of love. It sounds familiar because you have lived with it for a long time. It learned your fears. It learned your wounds. It learned how to motivate you through pressure instead of peace. But that voice has never healed you. It has only kept you running. You tell yourself that once you reach the next level, you will finally feel secure. Once you achieve more, once people notice, once you are affirmed, then you will rest. But my child, the finish line keeps moving, doesn't it? Every time you arrive, there is another expectation waiting, another standard, another comparison, and you wonder why fulfillment never lasts. I want you to understand something gently. You were never meant to find peace by proving your worth. Peace was always meant to be received, not achieved. You confuse effort with purpose. You confuse busyness with meaning. You confuse exhaustion with faithfulness. But I do not measure you the way the world does. The world praises visibility. I honor faithfulness in hidden places. The world celebrates results. I see the obedience it took to keep going when no one applauded. The world rewards those who never slowed down. I draw close to those who finally stop striving and breathe. My child, you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to be in process. You are allowed to not have it all figured out. I am not disappointed in you for being human. I see how much you carry alone. Responsibilities you never asked for. Expectations you never agreed to. Emotional weight no one checks on. You smile so others don't worry. You stay strong so others can lean. You stay quiet so you don't burden anyone. But I see the cost. I see how tired your spirit has become, how heavy your thoughts feel at night, how often you question whether you are doing enough. My child, you are not falling short. You are just tired of trying to be everything for everyone. And you do not have to keep living like this. There is a way to live from rest, not for rest. There is a way to move forward without constantly proving your value. There is a way to serve, to grow, to succeed without losing your peace. Stay with me, because the next truth I will show you is where freedom begins. My child, come a little closer in your heart. I want to show you something you have never been taught clearly. You believe rest comes after you prove yourself. You believe peace is a reward for performance. You believe love must be earned by consistency. That belief has shaped how you live, how you pray, how you see yourself. You show up exhausted, thinking I am impressed by how much you sacrifice. You push through burnout, thinking that suffering is the same as faithfulness. But listen to me carefully. I have never asked you to destroy yourself in order to be loved by me. I never called you to abandon your soul just to keep up with expectations. When you feel guilty for resting, that guilt did not come from me. When you feel anxious while doing enough, that anxiety did not come from me. When you feel like you must constantly prove that you are worthy to stay where you are, that pressure did not come from me. My child, I do not drive you. I lead you. Driving creates fear. Leading creates trust. Driving says, if you slow down, you'll lose everything. Leading says, follow me, and I will carry what you cannot. You have been living as if everything depends on you, your future, your stability, your relationships, your purpose. That is why your shoulders feel so tight. That is why your mind never truly rests. That is why even good things feel heavy. You were never meant to carry life alone. You were created to walk with me, not race without me. I see how often you replay conversations in your mind, how you question whether you said the right thing, did enough, gave enough, showed up enough. You measure yourself by reactions, by results, by approval. But my child, your value was settled long before anyone had an opinion about you. I did not choose you because you were impressive. I chose you because I love you. That love did not increase when you succeeded, and it did not decrease when you failed. You are not on probation with me. I am not waiting for you to mess up so I can withdraw my presence. I am not counting how many times you fall before I stop walking with you. I am steady. I am patient. I am not exhausted by you. You think letting go means falling behind, but letting go is how you finally breathe. Release does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling, and control has been costing you more than you realize. Stay with me, my child, because in the next part, I will show you how to live fully without carrying the weight you were never meant to hold. My child, stay right here with me. I want you to understand something deeply, because this is where many hearts become confused. Letting go does not mean becoming careless. It does not mean giving up on growth. It does not mean lowering your standards. It means changing who you rely on. You have been relying on your effort to protect you from failure, on your perfection to protect you from rejection, on your strength to protect you from disappointment. But effort cannot heal fear. Perfection cannot secure peace. Strength alone cannot quiet the soul. That is why even when you do well, you still feel uneasy. You are tired, not because you are weak, but because you are carrying what belongs to me. I never asked you to be your own savior. I asked you to follow me. There is a difference between discipline and pressure. Discipline brings clarity. Pressure brings panic. Discipline builds you from the inside. Pressure slowly breaks you. You know the feeling, that constant tightness in your chest. That voice saying, if you stop now, everything will fall apart. My child, that voice is not wisdom. Wisdom speaks gently. It does not rush you. It does not threaten you. When I guide you, I do not shout over your fear. I quiet it. I know you are afraid that if you stop proving yourself, you will be overlooked. But listen to me. What is meant for you does not require you to exhaust yourself to keep it. What is built with me does not collapse when you rest. I am not impressed by how much you can endure. I am moved by your willingness to trust. Trust looks like this, doing what is in front of you without needing to secure the outcome. Trust is showing up without gripping the result. Trust is releasing the belief that everything depends on your performance. You have been trying to manage tomorrow with today's strength. That is why you feel overwhelmed before the day even begins. I give you grace for today, peace for today, strength for today. Tomorrow will have its own provision. My child, you do not need to earn rest. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a place where I meet you. When you slow down, you are not falling behind. You are aligning, and alignment always brings peace. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you next will change how you carry responsibility without being crushed by it. My child, listen to me carefully now. Responsibility does not mean ownership. You can be responsible without believing everything depends on you. You have confused the two. You wake up already tense because your mind is racing ahead, trying to control outcomes that were never placed in your hands. You replay conversations. You rehearse mistakes that haven't happened. You prepare defenses for battles that may never come. That is not preparation. That is fear wearing the mask of wisdom. I did not design your mind to live in the future. I designed it to live with me in the present. When you stay rooted in now, you hear my voice more clearly. When you rush ahead, fear speaks louder. You say, if I don't hold this together, who will? My child, I have been holding things together long before you notice them falling apart. You see effort. I see orchestration. You see deadlines. I see timing. You see pressure. I see invitations to trust deeper. I know you feel like you are always on, always available, always proving, always adjusting yourself to be accepted. But hear me. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to say, I cannot carry this alone. That sentence does not make you weak. It makes you honest. And honesty is where healing begins. I never asked you to be everything for everyone. I asked you to love, to walk humbly, and to trust me with the rest. Some burdens you are carrying were placed on you by expectations, not by me, and you have the permission to lay them down. You are not disappointing me by slowing your pace. You are honoring me by listening to your limits. Your limits are not flaws. They are boundaries that protect your soul. When you respect them, you make space for my peace. I know you fear that if you stop pushing, you will lose momentum. But momentum built on anxiety always costs more than it gives. What I build with you moves forward, even when you breathe. My child, I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I am asking you to stop letting it define your worth. You are valuable before you achieve. You are loved before you succeed. You are secure before you prove anything. Let that truth settle, because when it does, you will begin to move through life, lighter, steadier, and with a peace that no pressure can steal. Stay with me. There is something deeper I want to heal in you next. My child, what I want to touch now is the place you rarely talk about, the quiet exhaustion that comes from always being strong. You learned early how to keep going, even when no one noticed you were tired. You learned how to smile while carrying questions you couldn't explain. You learned how to succeed outwardly while feeling unseen inwardly. And over time, being strong stopped feeling like a choice and became an identity. But strength without rest slowly becomes isolation. You tell yourself, I'll rest later, when things slow down, after I prove myself, but later keeps moving, and your soul keeps waiting. I see how hard you try to hold yourself together, to not need too much, to not ask too often, to not burden anyone with your inner weight. You fear that if you let people see how tired you really are, they might step back. So you keep performing calm. You keep performing confidence. You keep performing faith. But my child, you never needed to perform for me. I am not impressed by how much you endure. I am moved by how much you trust. You do not honor me by hiding your weariness. You honor me by bringing it to me. There is a difference between perseverance and self-neglect. Perseverance walks with me. Self-neglect walks alone. I know you have told yourself this is just how life is, that everyone feels this pressure, that slowing down means falling behind. But hear me gently. Peace is not laziness. Rest is not failure. Stillness is not giving up. Stillness is where I restore what striving has drained. You were never meant to live in constant alert mode. Your heart was not designed to always brace for impact. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain it. You are allowed to lay your head down without fear that everything will fall apart, because I do not step away. When you stop striving, I step closer. My child, let me carry the weight you have been gripping too tightly. Not tomorrow, not when things calm down. Now, stay with me. We are getting closer to the freedom your soul has been craving. My child, there is a reason your spirit feels lighter, even as you listen now. It is because truth always brings relief before it brings change. You have lived for so long under the weight of expectations that you forgot what freedom feels like. Not just expectations from people, but the ones you placed on yourself. You told yourself, I must be better by now. I should be further ahead. I can't afford to fall behind. And every should slowly became a chain. I see how comparison has shaped your thinking. You measure your life against timelines that were never meant for you. You watch others move faster, appear stronger, seem more certain. And quietly, you ask yourself what you are doing wrong. My child, nothing is wrong with you. Different paths do not mean delayed purpose. I never rush my work. and I never copy it. What I am forming in you requires depth, not speed. That is why I have allowed seasons where you felt hidden, uncelebrated, unnoticed. Those were not wasted years. They were root-building years. A tree that grows fast, but has shallow roots, cannot stand in storms. But you have been strengthened in silence. I know it feels unfair that your effort isn't always seen, that your faithfulness isn't always rewarded immediately, that your obedience sometimes feels lonely. But listen closely. I see what no one applauds. I honor what no one affirms. And I am faithful to complete what I began. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are becoming, and becoming takes time. I know you're tired of explaining yourself, tired of defending your pace, tired of justifying your choices. You don't owe clarity to everyone who questions you. Your peace matters more than their understanding. When you stop trying to prove yourself, you begin to hear me more clearly. And when you hear me, you move with confidence that doesn't need validation. My child, I am not asking you to disappear. I am asking you to rest in who you already are, because who you are is already enough for me. Stay here with me. There's a deeper release ahead, one that will loosen fear from places you didn't know it was hiding. My child, let us go a little deeper now, because some of the pressure you feel did not come from the world alone. It came from moments when you felt loved only when you performed well. You learned early that approval followed achievement, that silence followed failure, that attention came when you made others proud. And slowly you began to believe that love must be earned. But listen to me carefully. I have never loved you because of what you do. I loved you before you ever succeeded. I loved you before you ever failed. I loved you when no one noticed you at all. You were never a project to be perfected. You were always a child to be cherished. Yet you carry yourself as if rest must be justified, as if slowing down is weakness, as if saying, I can't do this anymore, means you're falling apart. My child, rest is not quitting. Rest is trusting that I am still working, even when you stop striving. You were not created to constantly prove your worth to rooms that change their standards every time you meet them. You were created to walk with me, to listen, to breathe, to move at a pace that protects your soul. I see how exhaustion has blurred your joy, how burnout has made even good things feel heavy. You wonder why you feel distant sometimes, why prayer feels quiet, why motivation fades. It is not because you are weak. It is because you have been carrying what I never asked you to carry. You took responsibility for outcomes that belonged to me. You tried to control timelines. That required trust. You pushed yourself past grace. And now your heart is asking for permission to rest. I am giving you that permission. Lay down the need to impress. Lay down the fear of falling behind. Lay down the voice that says you're only valuable when you are productive. You are valuable because you are mine, nothing more, nothing less. I am not disappointed in you. I am inviting you closer, because when you stop performing, you start living. Stay with me, my child. There is still more freedom waiting to unfold. My child, now that your heart has slowed, now that the noise has softened, I want you to hear something very clearly. You are not held together by your effort. You are held by my faithfulness. There were moments you thought you would break, times you felt stretched beyond what you could handle. Yet you are still here, not because you were strong, but because I was near. You often look back and judge yourself harshly. You replay choices. You question decisions. You wonder if one wrong step changed everything. But I do not measure your life by isolated moments. I see the full story. I see how you kept going, even when hope felt thin. I see how you stayed kind when bitterness would have been easier. I see how you showed up, even when you felt empty. That matters. You may feel unseen, but nothing done with love is ever wasted. You are not defined by the days you struggled. You are not labeled by the seasons you doubted. You are shaped by perseverance you didn't know you had. And I know you fear this question. If I stop pushing myself, will everything fall apart? No, my child. What falls apart was never meant to hold you together. What remains will be rooted in truth, not pressure. You do not need to prove that you deserve rest. You do not need permission to breathe. When you allow yourself to slow down, you make space for clarity. You make room for peace. You allow healing to reach places that were ignored. This is not the end of your drive. This is the beginning of healthy strength. A strength that listens. A strength that waits. A strength that trusts. Instead of forcing outcomes, I am teaching you how to move forward without leaving yourself behind. And I know this feels unfamiliar. Letting go always does. But you are not losing direction. You are gaining alignment. Stay close, my child. What comes next will feel lighter than what you carried before. My child, there is something gentle I want to place back into your hands. Your sense of identity. Somewhere along the way, you began to introduce yourself by what you accomplish, by how useful you are, by how much you can handle. And when those things slow down, you feel unsure of who you are. But listen to me. You are not your productivity. You are not your title. You are not your reputation. You are not the expectations others placed on you. You are known before you are noticed. You are loved before you are approved. When you wake up each day already measuring your value, your heart never rests. It stays alert, guarded, tired. That is not the life I designed for you. I did not create you to live in constant evaluation. I created you to live in connection, to walk with me, to learn my pace, to trust my timing. You have been trying to control outcomes because uncertainty feels unsafe, but control has quietly stolen your peace. My child, peace does not come from having everything figured out. Peace comes from knowing you are not walking alone. You don't need to carry tomorrow before it arrives. You don't need to solve what will unfold in its own time. Right now is enough. Right now, you are enough. I see the tension in your shoulders, the way your mind races, even when your body is still, the way silence feels uncomfortable because it leaves space for thoughts you've avoided. but I am not afraid of what lives in that silence. Bring it to me, not the polished version, not the strong version, the honest one. I am not waiting for you to have it all together. I am waiting for you to stop pretending that you should. You don't need to impress me. You don't need to convince me. You don't need to earn your place here. You already belong. And as you rest in that truth, something will begin to change. Your choices will feel clearer. Your steps will feel steadier. Your heart will feel lighter, because when identity is settled, pressure loses its power. Stay with me, my child. We are moving from survival into freedom. My child, now that your heart is beginning to rest, I want you to notice something important. The quiet you are feeling right now is not emptiness. It is space. Space where fear no longer speaks the loudest. Space where your soul can finally breathe. Space where I can gently lead instead of you constantly pushing. You have been living as if urgency equals importance, as if rushing means you care, as if slowing down means you are losing ground. But urgency has a way of disconnecting you from wisdom. I never rush you. I never pressure you. I never confuse speed with purpose. When I guide you, there is clarity even in waiting. There is peace even in uncertainty. You have felt uneasy when things don't move fast enough. You wonder if you missed your moment, if opportunities passed you by, if others are getting ahead while you are standing still. My child, stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is where alignment happens. Stillness is where direction becomes clear. Stillness is where you remember who you are without the noise of expectation. You are learning to listen again, not to every voice, not to every opinion, but to the one that brings life. And I know letting go of control feels vulnerable. Control made you feel safe when trust felt risky. But control also kept your heart tense, your mind restless, your joy fragile. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I am asking you to stop carrying responsibility alone. You do not have to hold everything together. You do not have to anticipate every possible outcome. You do not have to be ready for what has not yet arrived. I am already where you are going, and I am just as present in this moment as I am in your future. You don't need to rush to prove that you are serious about life. Your faithfulness is not measured by exhaustion. It is measured by trust. As you release the pressure to always be on, to always be strong, to always be ahead, you will notice your joy returning quietly, not all at once, but steadily, gently, honestly, and that joy will not depend on performance. It will come from knowing you are held. Stay with me, my child. There is one more layer of freedom I want to reveal. My child, there is something even deeper that has been shaping your heart without you realizing it. You have learned to be strong for everyone else. You became the one others lean on, the one who stays composed, the one who figures things out when things fall apart. And while that strength looks admirable, it has quietly taught you to hide your own needs. You listen well. You support deeply. You show up consistently. But when it is your turn to be honest about your weight, you hesitate. You wonder if you are asking too much. You fear being a burden. You worry that needing help will change how others see you, so you carry it alone. My child, strength was never meant to isolate you. True strength allows itself to be supported. I see how you minimize your pain by telling yourself others have it worse. I see how you silence your own tears by reminding yourself to be grateful. Gratitude is good, but it should never cancel honesty. You are allowed to acknowledge what hurts without feeling guilty for it. I am not asking you to become weaker. I am asking you to become real. When you stop pretending you are always okay, your heart makes room for healing instead of endurance. You have endured long enough. Now it is time to be restored. You do not need to hold your breath anymore. You do not need to brace yourself for impact as if peace is temporary. I am teaching you how to live without armor, not careless, not unwise, but open, open to rest, open to support, open to joy, without waiting for permission. You have spent so much time preparing for what might go wrong that you forgot to expect what can go right. I am not leading you into disappointment. I am leading you into wholeness, and wholeness begins when you stop proving and start trusting. You do not need to convince the world that you are enough. You need to believe it yourself. I am with you in this unlearning, in this releasing, in this becoming. Stay here with me, my child. The final weight is almost ready to fall away. My child, take a slow breath with me now. Feel how your chest is not as tight as it was before. Feel how the weight you carried for so long is no longer crushing your spirit. This is what happens when you stop proving and start trusting. You were never meant to earn your place in this world by exhausting yourself. You were never meant to chase approval until you lost yourself. You were meant to live loved. And now I want you to hear this clearly, not as a thought, not as a feeling, but as truth. You are enough right now, not when you achieve more, not when you fix everything, not when others finally understand you. Right now, the version of you that is tired, the version of you that is still learning, the version of you that sometimes doubts but still shows up, that version is deeply seen. That version is deeply valued. That version is deeply held. You don't need to go back and prove anything to anyone. You don't need to replay your life and defend your choices. I am not asking you to be more impressive. I am asking you to be at peace. Let tomorrow arrive without fear. Let your future unfold without force. Let your life grow without comparison. I will guide your steps. I will steady your heart. I will remain close, even when the path feels uncertain. You are not walking alone. You never have been. And as you move forward from here, carry this with you. You are loved without conditions. You are chosen without competition. You are held without effort. My child, if you believe in me and in your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, subscribe to this channel. I am with you, always